in this video. G'day, welcome back. So we're here again with the Alfa Romeo. I got the CV boots to do on the passenger side, both the inner and the outer. This is kind of how it went. Didn't really go to plan, but we got there in the end. A bit of mild peril on the way, but here you are. Enjoy, and we'll see you at the end. Cheers. So you can see this nut's been off before and it's been reused. Looks like a bit of a dog's dinner, so we're going to go third time lucky because I don't have a replacement, and it'll be great. There we go. The inner joint's held in by 2, 4, 6 mil, 5 mil Allen nuts and bolts. I'll just clean out all the heads of all the Allen screws, bolts, so we don't round them off. We get the tool seated pretty well. This video clip got messed up somehow and the sound disappeared, so it's a bit of a struggle getting the drive shaft bolts out. There's 6 of them, 5 of them came out with a big struggle. The last one, the head of the bolt was pre-rounded. I didn't round it, it was already kind of like that, so this is how I got it out. I drilled it and chiseled it and it buggered off, and it was hard work because there's no access, but we got there, so that's what happened. Got these fancy Allen keys that grip the holes, so make it really hard to strip out. Quite like these. Right, so Allen head bolt is pretty well stripped out. It was like that before I started. There's not a lot of room to hammer anything in there to try from that end. But these are nuts and bolts. So what I have tried, which I didn't bother filming, is trying to undo the nut on the other side. But the problem is, you can only get an open-ended wrench on there, and believe it or not, that was just spinning. Well, I ended up spinning too. You need a lot of force to move these for some reason. So what I'm doing now, because I can't do much else, I'm going to just drill the nut off, and then we should be able to get it out. But geez, this is unnecessarily tight. So I used a few different things to try and get that bolt out. I still can't pull it out of there, but the joint is loose, the nut is loose. If you come under here, come under there. Right, so there's our bolt. You can't quite, there's not enough room to turn the nuts, which is why I couldn't undo the nut, but that is loose, so hopefully when pull the axe, I can just give it a tug and it will separate, come out. But yeah, the bolt is spinning. The nut I can't quite get out because there's no room. But yeah, we'll go for this. If that doesn't work, we'll do something else. So we've got a fairly elaborate suspension here. We've got some top wishbones. Got this wee forky thing. And I believe all we need to do to get the axle out is just undo this big bolt. Then we should have enough room to wiggle it out, or wiggle it out in English. Right, so things escalated somewhat. I ended up taking that ball joint out. Probably with how that bolt's still in there, it's probably going to be the only way I can get that out. Yeah, certainly different suspension setup to I'm used to, but that's alright. We'll get there. So yeah, we'll pull that drive shaft out. Can we do that now? Not with one hand. Right, we'll get that out and go from there. Right, after a fair bit of wrestling, we've got it. This is easy. Even that was too hard. There's what's left of my nut. I think I'll have to replace that one. Right, so here it is. Motor joint's already held on with a cable tie. It's a good start, eh? I'm going to figure out how to get it to pieces. Cable tie. That's that once. Yeah, man. One of them. That one. There's a leaf in there. I don't think that's factory. There's a wee Sir Clip Richard in there. I'm going to take our balls out, boys. Sir Clip over here, eh? Oh, yep. Glad that's not a precision part, eh? A special cleaning area. Ow!
There's another one. Taking a long time, right? That's right. Yeah, I'm not stopping. Here.
Right, so we're back with, I've got a new vise because my one snapped in half and a bigger hammer, so we should be right. Oh fudge. Oh, that came off in pieces. It's real handy, eh? Oh, yep. They're getting cleaned. Right, so we're back. So I've cleaned up the inner joint, got a new outer joint, got a new inner boot, got a new outer boot that comes with that. I've also got my original CV boot banding tool, which was so terrible in the last CV boot video I did that a viewer sent me a new one, a much fancier one of these swirly whirly ding dongs. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but thank you very much for sending that. That's awesome. Got some pretty fantastic people out there watching, so yeah, thank you. So yeah, let's put it back together. So you see my balls are shiny. Can you see my shiny balls? Super clean, no wear on those. We're fine to reuse the joint. CV boots, very important you do stuff in the right order. You don't want to kind of paint yourself into a corner and get screwed over, so we'll be careful. Right, so the boot needs to go on first. That's a given. It's good. And I think this also needs to go on. That needs to go on because our inner bit does not pass through there. So pop that on. So we could actually do the clamps up before we start, but you know, we shan't. What's those? I'll have to do this wrong end if you want to see, but there we go. This bit needs to go on first, in a racy bit. Alright, just tap it down the last wee bit. It's in. This bit here. That time I needed that on first. That looks like we needed that on first. Oh, funnies. Right, so here's our joint. Start off with our boot. And this cage and this inner race bit need to go in together, it turns out. Otherwise you can't assemble them. That needs to go on first. This is not a factory procedure. This bit. Just take this damper off so we can move the boot down so we've got a bit more room to wiggle the bloody what's it's off. Take that off. And move the boot down. Get my bit of glove out of there. Right, might be able to do this now. Oh look, I can see what I'm doing. Five. Last shiny ball. Ta-da! Right, grease the bugger. Bit more glove. Right, the bottom one. That tool works pretty well, eh? That one. It's on. That'll do. Right. There's our new joint. Looks a lot like the old joint. Even comes with a nice new nut. You know we needed. Right. Instructions, because I may have messed up before. Right, we'll start off, put our boot on. It says place circlip inside the joint. That's some of the way we went wrong before. Right, circlip is in the joint. Put half the grease in the hole. It says jam it on here. It clicks on. Gee, that was easy when you know what you're doing. greased. Slap the old boot on. Definitely a way better tool, that one. Thank you, subscriber. I won't name you in case you don't want to be named. Thank you. Beautiful. There's our shaft. So there's our nice shiny shaft ready to go back in. Took a wee bit longer than I planned and a few more parts than I anticipated, but looks a whole lot better than it did. Let's stick our shaft in the flange. Alright, so the axle's in, didn't miss much, just jam it in and stuff. We're just going to start our wee axle nut up. And you'll see our brake disc is looking a wee bit rusty, so we're going to hit it with some of the Supercheap Auto Brake Rejuvenator 5000. See what this does for it. Going to cover it all, leave it for a few minutes, and we'll see what it does. Oh, look at that, good as new. Good stuff, this Supercheap Auto brake and parts cleaner. Total brake overhaul in a can, so that's awesome. Well, I'll stick the rest of the brake stuff on, then we'll come back and we can tighten the hub nut together. Yay! Alright, so brakes are on, new set of Mintex bits and pieces. So you just need to tighten the axle nut, which is 36mm. So we'll tighten it up. Alright, so this is probably over torqued already. Hang on. Alright, so 70 Newton meters, which is that, plus 62 degrees. Alright, so that would be 90 degrees, that would be 45, so somewhere about, bring that somewhere over there, that'll be 62. Close enough. Start there, so 90, 45, so just like a big... What's that? That's about a 45. Juice it up a touch. Cover that up just in case it poon tings. Alright, I'll call that 62 degrees on top of 70 Newton meters. And last up, we just need to stake down the nut on both sides, so we'll just do that, eh? One. Best hammer I can find at the moment. Sorted. Job done. There we go, another job done. As you saw, it didn't really go to plan in a number of ways. I did plenty of things wrong, but that's okay because it's done now. So yeah, plenty of learning to be done on work on Italian cars. You've got to think Italian. Not German, so yeah, it's quite different to what I'm used to, but that's okay. We got there. Plenty of headaches, flipping bolts that didn't want to come undone. That outer CV joint, yeah, there was a better way to take that off that didn't involve a bigger hammer and a vise. It should have come off fairly easily. but I'm going to say the boot was split, it was full of water, it rusted on, it's the only way it's coming off. So we'll stick with that. I'm sure you'll comment otherwise, but who cares. I'm still waiting on some, I need to buy some hardware. We're in a bit of one of those COVID lockdown thingies, so I can't go to the hardware store and get more nuts and bolts, which I need to do the inner axle flange up. So yeah, I'll get that done. We've got nice new brakes on the front thanks to our Supercheap Auto spray, or was it the new Mintex brake parts? Hard to tell. But yeah, axle looks good, no more leaks. Brakes will be a whole lot better than they were. I'll do the other side of the brakes, not the axle, not doing another axle ever. Get that tidied up, hopefully be allowed to drive the car and take it from there. So there we go. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you for the next one, which will be something. Not sure yet because of whole world situation. But yeah, we'll get there. Cheers.